Hello everybody, I'm Fright from Frightopia, and welcome back to Tier 3 of the Video Games, Myths, and Urban Legends Iceberg. Before we get into this, I'm sure some of you have noticed that it's been a minute. Anyways, I'm going to keep this intro short. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about where I've been and what's going to go on, so I'm just going to do that in the outro. So if you're interested, stick around for that. But yeah, this video was actually written and recorded on, well, finished on January 8th. I just haven't edited it, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. So I mean, it's better late than never. But yeah, this iceberg was created by Midnight and Silent Chatterbox 52 on the Iceberg's website. I will link this iceberg down in the description. And yeah, watch the previous videos if you don't know what iceberg is. I'm sure you all do by now. But yeah, we're gonna get straight into this video. So once again, I'm Fright from Frightopia, and let's get into the video. Nier Automata's Church. Before we start with Tier 3, the creator of this iceberg just added a new one to Tier 2. So I'm going to talk about that real quick. This entry refers to when on the subreddit of the Nier game, a Reddit user named SadFutago posted a clip of him in a secret level where the players in this secret church area that no one's ever seen before. Naturally, this surprised a lot of people, and they had a lot of questions to ask this creator, but he posted it and never said anything again. So people were speculating that it could be an ARG. They just want to know, like, how could something like this stay hidden for 5 years and now just be found in the game? However, it was soon revealed on a live stream that 3 users named Dave Volas Revenge, Wolful Wolf, and Raider B created a secret room mod for the game. And you're probably thinking, like, how do people not suspect this? That seems like a pretty common, like, hoax in gaming community. However, in this specific game, mods with changing the world was never really heard of. So people actually saw this hoax as being like a genuinely like a good thing, because this meant that people could make much bigger and better mods in the future, which this group plans to do. Purple prizes in Super Mario 64 DS. This entry is really similar to the L is Real entry that we talked about in the first tier of this iceberg. Instead of, you know, circulating around Luigi in the first Super Mario 64, we're talking about Waluigi in Super Mario 64 for the DS. One of the main reasons for this theory is that you can already unlock Mario, Luigi, and Wario, and it kind of seemed like Waluigi would be the natural next step. In 2005, a DeviantArt user named King Bowser Koopa uploaded an image that was titled Waluigi in Super Mario 64, and it was a picture of an article called Purple Prizes. Said article included hints on how to unlock Waluigi in the game, and it showed a bunch of pictures of Waluigi in these different areas in the map. Whoever created this article must have made a 3D model of Waluigi to put in these areas, because, well, I mean, he's not in the game, so. The article also stated that Waluigi had powers of, like, springy jumps, and when he got a power flower, he was able to run, like, extremely fast. And the article kind of looked like legit, so people thought it might have been from the Nintendo Power magazine or IGN, but they obviously, I mean, that guy made it. It's on DeviantArt. So naturally, after this article came out, people tried to use these hints to unlock Waluigi, and they weren't able to. Finally, 2 days after King Bowser Koopa made this post, he revealed that it was all an April Fool's prank. However, still people believe in the article and try to unlock Waluigi to this day. Yummer. Okay, I'm actually really excited to talk about this one. Like, researching this is just such an odd, like, such just an odd thing. I don't know. Like, you'll see. So this entry refers to, like, an unused sprite within the code of a 2019 browser game called SpongeBob Saves the Day. I went on the website and I played it. It was a little bit of like a point and click game. I don't know. It's for kids. I probably played like 5 seconds of it, to be honest. But on this sprite sheet for Mrs. Puff, when she's in the Krusty Krab, there's an unused sprite that, well, I don't know how to describe it, so I'm just gonna put it on the screen. So yeah, there was that image, and then there's a separate image of Yummer with hands. So if you were looking for a way to describe what Yummer looks like, apparently people were able to track down where these parts of this picture came from. So allegedly, the image was created using a seemingly computer-generated head, stock photos of ears, the anatomy notes page on eye popping, and the Wikipedia page on adult teeth. So I'm sure if I knew how to use Photoshop, I could probably make Yummer, but you know, I don't. I would do that on the screen, like as like a cool thing, but I don't know how to do it. So people wanted to get to the bottom of why this was in the sprite sheet of a child's game. So a person from 7-2, which is the company that was in charge of making this game, came forward and said that Yummer was a image that they used in their office for like the past 10 years, and it's just been like a joke. Yummer's real name is actually Yummy, and he was created as a modeling test. Allegedly, they use Yummy as a kind of a placeholder, so they put it in whatever they're working on to let people know that they need to come back to it and like fix it. So I guess in this game they just left it in the code and forgot to take them out. So that's why people found it. But I think the main reason it was in the specific area of like the Krusty Krabs with Mrs. Puff is because they said they tested it. They wanted to put Yummer in the game. They tested seeing what it would look like if Yummer would like pop out like from like behind a beam or something behind Mrs. Puff or Mr. Krabs, and just like, you know, they tried it and they're like, well, this might not work for a kid's game because it is a little creepy. Noki Bay Book. This entry refers to an Easter egg within 2002 Super Mario Sunshine, specifically in the level of red coins in a bottle. If you go down to the bottom of the bottle, there's a rock behind it, like an unopened door. Like you can't go through the door, so you have to like do like a weird camera trick, or you have to clip your way through the wall to actually see this book. It's actually inside of that rock. You can't interact with it at all, and it's a part of the environment, so it's not like a specific object. But people were just kind of trying to figure out why this book is there. People believe that this was probably a scrapped mission, in which Mario would have to grab this book and give it to the Noki Elder for a shine sprite. So they believe that instead of doing that mission, they just did the red coins in the bottle mission. But on the other hand, I don't really know if that could be the case, because like I said earlier, the book is not an object, it's a part of the environment, so I don't know how Mario would interact with said book. Another interesting theory stems from a quote said by Miyamoto, the creator of Mario. So I'm just going to read this quote to you real quick. What if everything that you see is more than what you see? The space that appears is a door to another world. What if something appears that shouldn't? You either dismiss it or accept that there is more to this world than you think. Perhaps it is really a doorway, and if you choose to go inside, you'll find many unexpected things. So people believe that this quote could have made the creators of the game put that book in a kind of hidden place behind that unexpected door, which is the door that you can't open. So if you were to find this book, which most people wouldn't unless you clipped through or did like a weird camera angle thing, you would find this book, and finding this book would lead to further mysteries and such. If the book actually had a connection to that quote, it could explain why like the book doesn't really lead like further anywhere, because a lot of stuff within Super Mario Sunshine had to get cut out or patched because they had too many levels and the system couldn't handle it at the time. So, however, I believe that it's kind of too difficult to find, to the point where like people would actually have to cheat to find it. So I don't think it has anything to do with the quote. It's an interesting theory though, but I'm not buying it. There was also a hoax rumor that Miyamoto wrote something in the book, in the textures of the book, that says "You have no life," signed Miyamoto. Basically saying that like if people took time out to find this and translate it, all of that, then they're wasting their time. And that could easily be found to be a hoax because if you use a simple model reader, you can see there's no text on the book. So yeah. Purple Guy Animatronic. This entry refers to a video posted by a user named ROXO1987, in which it was a video about them finding the Purple Guy Animatronic, and it was posted on November 16th of 2014. In this video, they're looking from like side to side in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and then they see like a brief flash of the Purple Guy Animatronic, and this spawned a large like rumor in the Five Nights at Freddy's community that there's actually like a very rare chance that you can find the Purple Guy Animatronic in this game. Obviously, you don't believe everything you see on YouTube, and it was soon figured out that there is no Purple Guy Animatronic in the game, and that image was just a photoshopped image of Freddy Fazbear's body and I think Chica's head, and it was just made purple. So yeah. Hanging Luigi. In 2007's Luigi's Mansion, there is a common glitch where Luigi's shadow will kind of be displaced and look like it's above him. This specific instance for this entry is in the telephone room of the fourth part of the game, when some lightning strikes and illuminates the room, and it makes it look like Luigi's shadow is above him, and it looks like, well, I'm not going to say it because I don't think YouTube likes it, but it looks like Luigi's not alive anymore. This led to the theory that all of the events of Luigi's Mansion are kind of like a dream of Luigi's, and he's in purgatory, and he's not actually alive for the events of it. Squall is dead. This entry is referring to the popular theory that the main character of Final Fantasy VIII, Squall, dies at the end of Disc 1, and all of the events of Disc 2 is a dream. At the end of Disc 1, a character named Edea impales Squall with a large ice shard, and then at the start of Disc 2, he's completely fine, and there's like no sign of him being stabbed by a shard of ice, like no cut or anything. So people believe that he actually died, and now the rest of this is a dream. There's actually a lot of evidence to kind of back this up. In Disc 2, the atmosphere seems a lot more like dreamlike, and the enemies become like less and less realistic looking, which is a big contrast to Disc 1, where it's, I guess, more grounded. I don't know, like as grounded as Final Fantasy can be. Also, a female character that really had no romantic interest for Squall just all of a sudden starts having feelings for him. When you beat the game, there's like a endgame movie kind of cutscene thing, and a lot of images are flashed on the screen that could relate to this death theory. There's a shot of Renoa trying to save Squall after he falls off the parade float after he's impaled with this ice shard. And there's also this really like creepy image of Squall with a black hole as his face. I'm not even sure what this is, but I mean, that's kind of disturbing. And then they believe that after this cutscene ends, that's after like this big dream flashes before his eyes, and that's when he finally dies. In late 2017, Yoshinoro Katase said in an interview with Kotaru that I think he was actually stabbed around the shoulder area, so he was not dead. But that is a very interesting idea. So if we ever do make a remake of Final Fantasy VIII, I might go along with that story in mind. If you are interested in seeing more about this theory, there is actually a whole website dedicated to this specific theory called squallisdead.com. I'll leave it in the description. I'm going to leave a couple things in the description if you want to research further. So yeah. Super Mario Galaxy DS. This entry refers to a hoax created by video game designer Pablo Belmont, who uploaded a video in 2007 called Super Mario Galaxy DS, in which it showed him playing Super Mario Galaxy on the DS. It shows that if you get all 240 stars on Super Mario Galaxy for the Wii with Mario and Luigi, you use the DS download play on your DS, and there you can play Super Mario Galaxy for your DS. On this Super Mario Galaxy for the DS, it showed how the dual screens work, and it showed new never before seen galaxies. And at the end of the video, the logo for Super Mario Galaxy DS shows up. However, for a split second, the E flips a little bit, which people believe is Pablo giving a hint that this is fake. I don't know if this part's completely true, because it kind of sounds a little outlandish, but I think it's good to mention anyway. But apparently Pablo was taking a college video making class, and his project was to make a viral video, which he got a B for because he only got 700,000 views. In all reality, though, if you do get all 240 stars, you don't get Super Mario Galaxy for the DS. You instead get a postcard saved to your Wii. So, Piggsy in San Andreas. Piggsy is an antagonist in Rockstar's 2003 game Manhunt, and Piggsy is this kind of mass murderer who's like, he's just like deranged. He has no connection with reality, and he wears a severed pig's head as a helmet. Following the game's release in 2008, there were a lot of rumors that Piggsy could be a part of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. In 2008, a YouTube myth hunter named Darth Dementis created a video about the Shady Creek's creature. At the end of the video, there's like this freeze frame, and you can barely make out like this small figure that people believe to be Piggsy. And like the theory around Piggsy is that he can be sighted in Mount Chiliad and Shady Creeks. This has also been confirmed by many other YouTubers who just use mods or like video editing to make it look like Piggsy's in GTA, but he's not. There's no evidence of Piggsy in like the files or anything. So, but the thing of why they think Piggsy's in the game is because they sell a figurine of him at Zero's RC shop. So people believe that Rockstar used like this small player model of this little action figure and make it bigger so it runs around with a chainsaw and kills people. But I mean, they wouldn't hide it. I don't know. Nude Samus. I'm gonna make this one quick because it's not the only one like this in this tier. So yes, this entry refers to a theory surrounding the 1986 game Metroid. At the end of the game, it reveals that Samus Aran is a woman because her suit kind of like, I don't know, it falls off, and it reveals that she's wearing like a bikini or like underwear or something. So naturally, as the 80s video game community does, is they're like, hey, these pixels, you know, I think they're hiding something in this game. I think she could not have those clothes on, you know. Yeah, so they believe that if you just beat the game a lot, eventually it'll happen. That's untrue. Allegedly, like, the people behind the game were kind of actually mad at this rumor because, you know, kids play that game, and these rumors all get spread through word of mouth back then. So, like, people would hear that there's a naked woman in this game, so they don't want their kids having the game, all that stuff. So it's just not good for marketing, you know. It's good for, I guess, the demographic that makes up these rumors. Allegedly, there is an unused game over animation that plays in the SNES Super Metroid, in which when you lose, Samus's power suit bursts, and then she's in her standard underwear or bikini. But then for a single frame, it burns, and like you see it for a single frame, and then she like lets out this loud cry, and then you like the screen cuts to black. But allegedly it got taken out because it was the cry and the animation was a little too sexual, which I don't know. Even if that was true, I can see why they put the red light on that one. So, moving on. Mewthree. This is an urban legend surrounding the 1996 game Pokemon Red and Blue, in which if you have a level 100 Mew and a level 100 Mewtwo in your party, you use them to beat the Elite Four. You go back home and you sleep in your bed. You wake up and you have a Mewthree in your party instead of the Mew and the Mewtwo, because the Mew and the Mewtwo form together to make said Mewthree. No code of said Pokemon exists in the game, and Nintendo or Game Freak haven't even like mentioned anything about there being a potential Mewthree. So, but there is. I did see something. I actually, when I was researching, I didn't see this. I was watching a Pokemon Iceberg video, and allegedly there is a Mewthree in the manga. I'm gonna throw up a picture. Red's Clefairy gets his DNA mixed with a Mewtwo somehow, and he transforms into Mewthree before fighting off a couple Mewtwo's and then coming back into Clefairy. But I don't know. It's interesting that Mewthree actually does kind of exist, but not in a video game sense. So moving on. Under Master Chief's helmet. For anybody who played Halo as a kid, they might have wondered, what does Master Chief look like underneath his helmet? In an interview, creative director Marcus Lido stated that he looks heroic but also kind of brutal because he's bald and he has like all these scars on his face. The only really glimpse at what he could look like is in 2012's Halo's 4, where if you beat it on like the extra hard difficulty, you get a cutscene where it kind of shows like this much of his face, just like his eyes, and it's like you can see a bit of scars and his eyes are like blacked out, but I mean he looks kind of cool. I don't know. So naturally there's a lot of fan-made pictures on what he could look like, and in the new TV show for Halo, his helmet is off quite a lot, which kind of confuses people because in the game, like his whole thing is always having his helmet on, and the TV show they don't do it, but I don't know. Delfino Plaza in Mario Odyssey. This entry refers to cut content of Isle Delfino in Mario Odyssey. Allegedly in Japan before the game was released, they had billboards of the game map, and it showed in like to the left of the Mushroom Kingdom, it showed Isle Delfino. However, people believe that it was scrapped so they can like work on fixing it up and then release as a DLC. However, that has never happened. But there was a fake like DLC video created by Geordie0724. I mean, it kind of really didn't do anything for this whole theory, but I don't know. It was well made. So, Ermac in Mortal Kombat 1. This entry refers to the misconception that there was a character in the game of Mortal Kombat called Ermac. This was due to a glitch in the early version of the game called Ermac, which stands for error macro. When this rare glitch happened, Scorpion's suit would turn red. After the third revision of the game, Ermac was listed on the counters below reptile battles and reptile appearances. This counter was to see how many times the function of Ermac happened in the game whenever that error would occur. However, people believe that since the hidden character of Reptile was just added, which I believe we talked about, that they also have Ermac as this hidden character. The rumor was so popular that they created Ermac as a character in Mortal Kombat 3. Princess Daisy's third eye. This entry refers to a bug in the Japanese and the early American versions of Super Smash Bros. Melee. When you're in the trophy section on the main menu, if you rotate the camera like to the back of the Daisy trophy, you see there's like an eye, like a third eye that doesn't look like any of the other ones, just randomly on her head. Since this became like a widespread like glitch, they fixed it for the Player's Choice version when that released in North America. Allegedly, this Twitter user named Supper Mario Broth was able to take the hair off of the player model, and it revealed that there was like around 10 eyes all over her head, which makes it seem as if the designers of the game just made all of them invisible but forgot one. So that's why we saw the one on the back of her head. But I don't know if this is true. And there's also a theory that if there's some on her head, there's like some like all over the rest of her body, which I don't know why I don't even know why there's, I'm not a graphic designer, but I don't know why there's eyes other than the two she needs, I guess. I don't know. Going to the moon in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. This is a popular like urban legend where people believe that you could somehow go to the moon in Pokemon Emerald, Sapphire, and Ruby. When you were on the moon, you could catch Jirachi, Deoxys, and a bunch of level 100 Pokemon. There's many different like ways to get to the moon. People believe that if you beat the Elite Four 100 times, you do every contest 100 times, or you talk to this certain scientist 100 times, you'll be able to go on a ship and go up to the moon. There's many videos with like ROMs that show you going on the moon, but I'm sure people have done the beating the Elite 400 times and never went to the moon, so it's been proven false. But there is a specific entry I'm excited to talk about, I think at the bottom of this tier list, which I'm excited to talk about that one. Diablo 2 Chat Gem. The Chat Gem is this little gem thing that appears between the game and chat windows on Diablo 2 Battle.net, which is like Blizzard's matchmaking system. When you would click the gem, it would change colors, and it would say gem activated, and then gem deactivated. Sometimes after clicking it a lot, instead of just saying gem activated and gem deactivated, and mind you, you'd have to click it a lot. Sometimes it would say perfect gem activated or moo. People speculated that this perfect gem activated would make all of their gems in their inventory to perfect gems. They believe that there could be a gem shrine on the map because of this. But when people asked Blizzard like what was up with perfect gem activating, they just said the chat gem is working as intended. In an interview at Gamescom of 2011, Game Trailers interviewed Jay Wilson, and he stated that, "I will definitely say the chat gem did nothing." Ghost cars in GTA San Andreas. So for our fourth San Andreas entry of this iceberg, this is referring to a glitch revolving around the Glendale car, specifically the beat up version of the car, which in the files is called Glen Shit. This version of the Glendale car was extremely like dented, and you couldn't fix it. And they're just generally known as, people call them beaters. So that's what I'm gonna call them. I'm not gonna call it a Glen Shit. So a lot of them spawn in the woods of the Backhoe Beyond. Specifically, the ones we're talking about are the ones that spawn on a hill. So when they spawn, they gradually go down to the hill, like down the hill, which just makes it look like someone's driving the car. A ghost is driving the car. People don't know if the developers did this on purpose or if it was on accident. However, there are a lot of fan-made videos, much with all of these other hoaxes with San Andreas, where people are like, "Oh no, it's come to life and it's chasing me and it's gonna kill me," you know. But I don't know. I think this is a fun one because I like the stuff with, like, you know, the urban legends surrounding a glitch and not something that's just non-existent in the game. Fallout 3 Number Station. This entry refers to a creepypasta that was circulating around the web, in which the user stated that he killed 3Dog, who is the host of the radio station called Galaxy News Radio. Allegedly, his radio started bugging out, and it would say, like, make weird noises and say, like, codes and stuff. The reason I actually like this creepypasta in comparison to a lot of other creepypastas is that you can tell this person put actually a lot of work into this, because these codes were translated online by people that read this creepypasta, and, like, they were actually, like, able to decode these messages and see what they said, which is, I think, is really interesting. Also, if people get out of range of this specific radio show, allegedly a new news station would pop up, and it would just be a recording of 3Dog saying a bunch of random digits from 1 to 9 in a monotone voice, which is a little different because he's usually like a big personality guy, and all of a sudden he's talking in some monotone voice, just 1, 2, like stuff like that, you know. That's kind of, I don't know, that'd be a little creepy. After this 2 sentences of Morse code play, and then I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire by the Ink Spots plays after that. And then the broadcast just goes back to normal. So I'm going to read some of these Morse code translations. I'm just going to look at my screen because I don't know. I don't want to mess up the quote. At 24:16 on December 24th of 2012, the message, "Watch the car today, maybe Chinese for dinner." And, "Have you watched my YouTube video yet? I uploaded myself kicking bums in the nuts." At 23:33 on February 27th, 2023, which is actually coming up. "I can't believe Britney's actually won an Oscar." This one doesn't have a date, but "I can't believe they've actually done it. Not long left. The noise. I can't take the noise anymore. I have a pistol in the attic." People believe that this could be in reference to an incident in the game involving nuclear weapons, or an incident related to the Large Hadron Collider. At 4:02 on March 19th, 2014, "The Queen has died today. The world mourns. As on days like this, we're all Brits." At 22:15 on April 15th, 1865, "He's dead, and blame will probably be placed on that actor, both. Johnson better not cheat me out of the payment." That code suggests that Vice President Andrew Johnson, or somebody else with the last name of Johnson, orchestrated the Lincoln assassination. And these 2 messages that I'm going to say have no time or dates. What you talking about? You'll be missed. Which is a reference to the death of Gary Coleman. And accident in the Gulf, oil spill apparently averted, which is a reference to the BP oil spill. There are a lot of fan-made videos about this creepypasta. I actually think it's a pretty cool creepypasta. I'll link it. And these fan-made videos, it's pretty interesting. I don't know. This is an interesting one. I like it. Cacomallow Leak. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but this entry is in reference to a screenshot, I believe. This is the only really thing I found was the screenshot. It shows Mii fighters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, one of which is dressed up like the Caco Demon from the Doom series, as well as Mallow from Super Mario RPG, and they're fighting Ken. It shows Ken doing a thumbs up like he did in the leak before he was announced as a fighter. So some people believe that this could be real, however it wasn't, because those have never been released in a future DLC, but it did get people into making mods related to like the Mii suits, so it's pretty interesting. Chris Houlihan room. Prior to the release of 1992's A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Nintendo Power Magazine had a sweepstakes in which whoever won would get their name in the secret room in A Link to the Past. All they had to do was take a picture of them finding this rare boss in Final Fantasy and send it in. A man named Chris Houlihan won, and his name was put in the secret room. The room functioned as a failsafe room, only accessible when the game has corrupt room data. The room has 45 blue rupees in it, and this dialogue box comes up saying, "My name is Chris Houlihan. This is my top secret room. Keep it between us." Okay. This was only in the American releases, since this was only an American sweepstakes, and people have found ways to access this through using Pegasus boots and bombs. Zoo level in Accounting Plus. Accounting Plus is this sort of nightmare adventure comedy game that's VR, and it's sort of follows someone doing virtual reality accounting, and it goes wrong and they just get put in a bunch of wacky situations. It was kind of like co-run by Justin Roiland, the co-creator and voice actors for Rick and Morty, and William Pugh, the creator of the Stanley Parable. At the 2017 Game Awards, the 2 co-runners of the game made an announcement that there will be a hidden zoo level within the game, which is, they say it was like a lot of work for something that only a few people will be able to find before showing a trailer of the game. Said trailer in the game has a small glimpse of a clown standing outside of an area that says zoo location. The release trailer also has like fast scrolling text at the end, and if you like pause it at the right moment, it says does ship with a secret zoo level, which is very hard to find. When the game was released, people that were on the mailing list for Crows, which is William Pugh's company, they got some email where at the bottom there was a string of like letters, which people found out was code in base 32 for look further down, the zoo level is inside of us, with a bunch of different letters. So people basically knew like the zoo level is going to have an ARG element to it. I'm not going to get super in depth because that really deserves a video on its own based on how far this gets. Basically, I'll link videos for you to watch in the description if you're interested. But a bunch of more content for this ARG was put out through emails. There was a secret like Discord server where people were trying to sell this ARG, and the people in Crows actually like infiltrated that server. They had like a character like this frog guy that was like the main detective, and when they released like the water park update, they showed this clown character that you saw at the zoo entrance, and he was kind of like also investigating this thing. Like it really went really in depth, and it was a smart ploy too, because this ARG kept people interested in the game, which was, I mean, it was a smart business tactic, and it's really interesting actually. I really recommend you check it out in your own time. But yeah, I watched a video by Retail Factor on this, and the top comment actually explains it pretty well. I think the zoo level is really the creators watching us play the game, looking for a secret zoo level, like at a zoo. We are the animals that entertain them. Ghost of Misery Mire. This entry once again refers to A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This one involves a glitch in which the Fireball Zora enemies in the Swamp of Evil, they typically spawn in deep water. However, there are 3 that spawn in like the shallow water, resulting in them being like invisible and they don't harm the player. This was discovered when you were able to like set them on fire using the Bombos medallion. This just kind of led to speculation that this means that this area could be haunted, which I mean, it's called the Swamp of Evil, so I mean. Nude Lara Croft. Luckily, I think this is the last one on the iceberg. The last one in this realm of urban legends. So I'm going to knock this one out quick. This is a urban legend surrounding the 1996 Tomb Raider game, in which people just wanted to, they believe there was like a cheat code where you could make crofts. Interestingly enough, the developers said they released a cheat code to do this, but upon doing so, instead of the result that players thought would happen, they would just blow up in the game and die, which I think that was a good move on the developers' part. Xbox 720. I'm pretty sure this entry is just talking about the rumor that there would be an Xbox 720, because it was around like 2012, 2013 when people knew there was going to be a new Xbox out at some point. They were assuming they would be, so they just assumed from Xbox 360 it would be the Xbox 720. However, the Xbox One came out in 2013, so I mean, they got a new Xbox, so. GLaDOS Design is based on a woman gagged and bound upside down. This entry is just about the theory that the design for GLaDOS, like the main antagonist of Portal, is, I'm not going to say it again because I don't know if YouTube likes it, but they say it resembles that, which I can see. I can see this being plausible due to the fact that Caroline was forcibly put her conscience into GLaDOS, so, I mean, she's imprisoned within GLaDOS, I guess. I mean, bound upside down. Kind of similar. Allegedly, what the developers were going for was, I guess, the birth of Venus and a feminine robot, which is their words. I really don't know what that means, but oh, okay. So I just looked up what birth of Venus is. It's a painting. I can't show it on YouTube though. I'm sure you can guess why. The Children of Goldshire. This entry refers to an Easter egg in World of Warcraft, in which there are 6 kids named Dana, Aaron, Cameron, John, Jose, and Lisa, who spawn at 7 a.m. server time. They leave their house and they kind of go to some different areas on the map and then come back to their house around like 7:30ish. Cameron's always in the middle and Dana's always in the front. Whenever they stop walking, Cameron's still in the middle and everybody kind of walks around them. When they return home, they go upstairs and they kind of go around Cameron again. People say it looks like a pentagram, but I think it's just because it's 5 people, it looks like a pentagram. But they kind of just stand there for 10 minutes, then they kind of switch positions after 10 minutes and point somewhere. Spooky music and sounds play, and then at 8 p.m. they despawn. According to John's stats, it's a reference to Blizzard's dungeon department, in which there's members of the same names as these kids, because the exterior level employees and the other people, they have like a friendly rivalry. So it was just like a little like lighthearted jab, being like, you guys are weird children that do satanic looking things, even though it's not supposed to be satanic. I don't know. It's a cool little Easter egg. I love when they when developers do stuff like that. It's like my boy Yummer, dude. Figures in single player GMod. I believe that this entry is in reference to Semper the Black Figure, who rarely spawns on people's single-player worlds in Gary's mod. Rumors spread that these figures tried to kill the player or crash their game, and every time you would turn around, like you're turning your back to them, they would ever so like come towards you, you know? The Semper model was first in Half-Life 2, as like the player's like placeholder model, because you don't ever see yourself in third person, but if you go on like the dev console and put yourself in third person, that's what you see. These figures only appear in Gary's mod due to script errors when compiling missing model content. So basically it's just a glitch and it has no danger to the player. Deus Ex predicted 9/11. Deus Ex is a game made in 2000. Many of these missions are in Liberty City, in which you can see New York City in the background. When you look at New York, you notice that the Twin Towers are missing, and this was a year before the events. And I guess in lore of the game, it's stated that it's due to terrorism. People believe that this means like they predicted it happening. However, it's all chalked up to the fact that the towers were too high for the game to run it properly, so they just cut it out of the skyscape. And in terms of the lore, it could have been influenced by when in 1993 a group of terrorists parked a van in the parking garage like underneath the towers and tried to blow it up. So I mean, they didn't predict it. That evil farming game. In 2016, Reddit user Sparta213 posted on r/tip of my joystick. I'm just gonna read what the post said. The title of this post was, "This game was kind of like Harvest Moon. I know almost nothing about this game. All I can remember is that it's kind of like Harvest Moon, but with a dark twist. The game starts out with you and your wife. One night you get into a fight and you end up stabbing her to death. Now the game revolves around you farming to stay alive while trying to keep the town from finding out about the incident that happened. Every now and then the cops come to search your house and you have to hide her corpse. Edit, I have no recollection of what console this game was for, or when it came out. I know that it was released after 2000. I know this is vague, but it's really hard to remember something you forgot. Also, it had to be before mid-early 2015. Graphics were not 3D. I'm 100% sure it wasn't a browser game." That single Reddit post spawned a 5-year search for this game. It even had its own subreddit called r/that evil farming game, and large YouTubers like Nexpo and Wang even covered this mystery. Then on June 13th, 2021, a Redditor posted an animated Vinesauce video in which he was talking about a game that people should make that sounded a lot like that evil farming game. When this news came out, Vinesauce said he was a little embarrassed that he tricked everybody, and Sparta213 soon confirmed that it was exactly what happened, because he falls asleep to Vinesauce videos, so he must have been like half asleep and misremembered it as a game he actually played. It does actually sound like a fun game though, so I don't know, maybe someone should get on that. Opening all 3 llamas in Fortnite match gives you a reward. This is the rumor that in Fortnite Battle Royale, if a player is able to find the 3 llamas that spawn around the map before other people do, they get a reward called the Bright Bag, which is just a cosmetic item. This is obviously false because people were able to get all 3 llamas, which is hard. I think I actually did it back in the day. So yeah, that was tier 3 of the Video Games Myths and Urban Legends Iceberg. If you are still watching at this point, thank you so much for watching all the way through. I know it's been a minute, and and yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. The main reason I've been gone is this past semester was my last semester of college. It was a lot more work than I thought it would be. I was also very busy with improv. We traveled to a couple different states, so and we had like our own stuff we were doing, and I'm the treasurer and all that. So I was busy. Okay, but yeah, this summer I plan on uploading consistently. I'm currently doing a bit of like an internship job search, because all I need to graduate is an internship. So I'm kind of looking for that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna be working on videos just whenever I have free time, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I plan on trying to upload as consistently as possible, and continuing this in the next year. Especially, I'm taking a year off of school before I eventually go to law school, so I will just be working. So I hope I will have more time to work on these videos, because I really do enjoy doing them. Yeah, so if you guys have any video ideas that you want me to like explore, I'd be down. I have a few ideas of what I want to do in the future. But yeah, I think that's about it. If you guys want to stay connected with me, follow my Twitter and join my Discord. I talk to a lot of people in my Discord pretty much on a daily basis. It's just a good way to get to know people that are my subscribers, and made some good friends on there. So yeah, come on down, man. It's fun. Also, my Patreon is going to be closed for a bit, just because I don't really feel like I'm deserving of any Patreon money since I haven't posted. So once I become more consistent, I may open that back up. But yeah, I think that covers about everything I need to talk about. In the future, I may start streaming on Twitch. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I just want to play games and stuff, because there's some games I want to try playing, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it'd be fun to stream it. I don't know. There's so much possibility in the future, it's crazy. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed and you're new to the channel, please feel free to like and subscribe and comments. If you feel like you liked the video, it just helps out a lot. Yeah, I'm from Frightopia. Thank you for watching.